Recently, I gave you all the task of giving me some questions to answer, and I hope my answers are to your satisfaction. Let's go! What are your long-term goals for this channel, and what is your subscriber goal for this year? Now, I'm not normally one to set subscriber or viewership goals when it comes to YouTube, simply because success is far too reliant on luck. That being said, I've been hovering around 1.9 thousand subscribers for a very long time now, and simply getting that number to 2,000 this year would be satisfying enough for me. As for more long-term goals, I've said already that I want to push this channel in a more specific direction this year towards more intelligent content. When will I make another Overwatch video? The moment there's anything in Overwatch worth making a video on. The game is dead, the developers are all in cryostasis working on a sequel that was never needed, and quite frankly I just don't see how a high plat low diamond main tank player could ever make any worthwhile videos on such a game. How do you get your booty so smooth? Sorry, but there's no technique to it. My smooth booty is simply a gift from God. Many YouTube channels and videos made after 2014 are hot garbage. How do you go about purifying this? I actually disagree with this point, so I can't see a reason to purify anything. I think YouTube content, generally speaking, has improved drastically over the last decade. Sure, the site is filled to the brim with a lot of garbage and a whole lot of clickbait titles and thumbnails, but gaming content, specifically, has on the whole gotten a lot more interesting. Back in the early days, gameplay videos were pretty uneventful. Watching a Minecraft Let's Play was the equivalent of watching an unedited Twitch VOD. Nowadays, we have all sorts of videos surrounding video games, from channels like Maxor, who review games with an editing style equivalent to that of a fever-dreamed rollercoaster ride, or channels like TB Skyn, who analyze and dissect the visual language and storytelling that many games employ. Stage 4 Cancer is a more preferable alternative to maining Aatrox, and nothing you can say will change my mind. Counterpoint: Stage 4 Cancer is a more preferable alternative to playing League of Legends full stop. What is the best and worst Dark Souls game? I personally think the Dark Souls games get better with the release date, so for me 3 is the best and the first game is the worst. I realize it's a very controversial opinion to put Dark Souls 2 above 1, but I'm never going to apologize for it. Objectively speaking, sure 2 has a lot of problems, but it also has the best atmosphere and story of all the games, along with the best DLC. That all being said, if you want to hear my incredibly based hot take, it doesn't matter which is the better game between 1 and 2, because Dark Souls 3 is objectively better than both. Favorite adult beverage? Ouzo. It has the kick of vodka, except it actually tastes good. What is the best Pokemon? The best Pokemon is, and always will be, Mudkip. Is League of Legends a good game? God no. League is abhorrent. It is quite possibly the worst video game I've ever had the misfortune of playing. First of all, only 1/3 of the game's runtime is actual gameplay. The rest is taken up either by walking from point A to point B, or experiencing Grey Screen Simulator because the respawn time takes a whole ass minute. But that's nothing when you realize that the third of gameplay you actually do get is horrendous on a fundamental level. Now, I would dearly love to list the billions of reasons why League is a bad game, but unfortunately, I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Who is Joe? He doesn't know. Joe Mum! What is the best anime and why? Without a second thought or any hesitation, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I prefer to save a lengthy discussion of the show for a later video, but in short, this show is a masterpiece of character writing. Even the small and seemingly unimportant characters are handled with care and perfection, let alone the main characters. The show speaks to us about the nature of humanity, power, authority, brotherhood, and it offers philosophical insights into what it really means to be human, all while portraying a fun and interesting fantasy story full of intrigue, political conspiracy, and well-rounded character drama. The show is, by all accounts, a masterpiece, and anybody who protests to that either hasn't watched it or doesn't actually know what good writing looks like. Why do you like the worst Rin face so much? I'm not sure what you mean, since I don't remember saying Ishtar was my favourite. Do you prefer Thing 1 or Thing 2 from the hit movie Cat in the Hat? Thing 1, obviously, because odd numbers are better than even numbers. If you could live in one anime or video game universe, what would it be? Honestly, this is a very hard question to answer, because most anime and video game universes would simply be awful to live in. After all, problematic and dangerous worlds are what makes fantasy so interesting as a genre. If these universes were all sunshine and rainbows, our characters wouldn't have much of a struggle. It's entirely dependent on whether I can choose where in this universe I'm placed. For example, Berserk's world would be an absolute horrible place to live in. Unless you happen to end up in Falconia, of course, in which you could live a perfect life, safe from the dangers of the world in a medieval utopia. To pick a rather comical answer, I think I would pick the JoJo's universe, since the rules of what does and doesn't kill you in JoJo's is a little more lenient. I could be bleeding out all over the shop, and I would likely come out just fine. Also, if I had the power to choose my ability in this universe, Time Stop and Time Erasure are particular power fantasies of mine, so that works out too. When are we getting a Silksong playthrough? Hopefully sometime this decade, if that game ever decides to actually come out. Are you actually going to make the Dark Souls lore reading ASMR you've promised? I haven't promised anything of the sort, but I would definitely like to do that someday. What is big when true? Subscribing to Fyrestar. That, and Elden Ring being possible to run smoothly without the need to upgrade your entire PC. Unfortunately for me, not everything big turns out to be true. What is your favourite kind of rock? The kind that raps. Who are your favourite ONG esports members? Stacko, Crab, and Spartskid. No, I will not elaborate further. Cope, Mold, Seethe, Cry More. Have I considered speedrunning any other games that aren't Dark Souls 3? At the moment, no. The only reason I'm speedrunning Dark Souls 3 in the first place is because it's a game I've become extremely familiar with over the years. It's the game I'm most passionate about as well. For me, Dark Souls 3 All Bosses as a speedrun category is one that tests your game knowledge and your overall skill pretty well. Most other games that I like are either not very fun to speedrun, or they simply rely too much on luck to get a good time. If you told me that I had to pick a game, then my first choice would probably be Hollow Knight. The 80% speedruns for that game seem pretty fun, but the route leaves even less room for error than Dark Souls 3 runs, so you probably won't see me ever attempt one. When are we getting a hot tub stream? How dare you? I am more than just an object for your obsession. CBT or pegging? Neither of these are desirable options, but clearly the world needs answers, so I will reluctantly choose pegging. Why red and black with arsehole personalities? I think that if you're implying that Rin has an arsehole personality, you've either completely misinterpreted the character on a fundamental level, or you just didn't watch the show. I also assume you're referring to W and Surta from Arknights, and I should probably clarify that I'm not invested in that game's story enough to know about characters' personalities. If they're assholes, then I assure you that's not why I find them appealing. Finally, it's also a common misconception that when I talk about red and black waifus, I'm saying that they're good because of their colour scheme, which simply isn't true. There are plenty of terrible red and black waifus out there, but what I mean is that it's a common occurrence in anime for well-written female characters to have those colours. It's simply an observation of a reoccurring trend, not a definitive rule. What's your favourite anime opening? My favourite anime opening is Golden Time Lover, the third opening of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think it's the best anime opening not only because the song is an absolute bop, but because the visuals of the opening itself are shoved full of fantastic visual storytelling, clever symbolism, and some of the greatest transitions I've ever seen in an anime opening. Couple all that with it being my favourite show, and the fact that it depicts what is probably the darkest arc in the story, you have an instant recipe for making my favourite opening. Are there any video games you'd like to see adapted into media the same way League of Legends lore was adapted for Arcane? I think Bloodborne would be an incredibly interesting story to see adapted as a show. Now, obviously it would require a great writing team and an entirely different storyline to the game, but a gothic tale about nightmares, beasts, and Lovecraftian-inspired eldritch horror would be nothing short of awesome to see adapted as a series. From Software have already created a visually interesting, beautiful yet terrifying world. All that's left is a character-driven story to slot right into it. Would you enter a threesome with your waifu and your waifu's husbando just to be with your waifu? I mean, I despise Shiro with every fibre of my being, but if it meant being with Rin, I'd be trolling to not say yes. At the end of the day, putting up with Shiro's bullshit is not as hard as turning down the opportunity to be with the perfect woman. Although, if we were to cheat a little bit and switch Shiro for Archer, I wouldn't hesitate for a second, holy shit. How many fingers can you stick up your ass? 11. Don't ask. When are we getting Cooking with Fyrestar and Delicious Pancakes? Yes.